Picture this. You're walking along a deserted beach, the sun beating down on the back of your neck, and you find a broken bottle half buried in the sand. Inside is a piece of old parchment with torn edges and ink that looks like dried blood. This isn't just any map, it's a promise of riches that could change your life forever or end it. My name is Lucas, and this is the story of how Clara, Diego, and I hunted for the treasure of Sangre Dorada. I thought it would be an adventure. I was wrong. Would you have followed the map? It was a muggy afternoon in São Luís, Maranhão. When I picked up that map, I'd just quit my job as a tour guide, tired of showing fake ruins to foreigners, and was looking for something real, something to take me out of the ordinary. The bottle ended up in my hands by accident, carried by a wave while I was fishing. The parchment inside was small, but the details were precise. An unnamed island in the Caribbean, an underwater cave, and the phrase Sangre Dorada awaits the brave, but devours the greedy. It wasn't just a legend to me, it was a challenge. Called Clara, my childhood friend, a historian who spent nights translating Aztec texts in search of clues to lost treasures. She blanched when she saw the map. Lucas, this is Sangre Dorada, the gold that Montezuma hid from the Spanish. They say that whoever finds it never returns. But her eyes lit up. She wanted it as much as I did. Then I persuaded Diego, a tattooed diver who had dodged sharks and shipwrecks before. He laughed at the warning on the map. If it's true, I want my share. 3 dreamers, a crumbling boat, and an uncertain fate. What could possibly go wrong? It took us 3 days to reach the island. The sea was rough, the waves crashing against the hull as if trying to warn us. Diego told stories of divers who had found Spanish gold in shipwrecks. There was a guy in Honduras who found a chest and bought a mansion. He died a month later, but what a month, huh? Clara rolled her eyes, but cited her own evidence. The Aztecs used gold in blood rituals. It's not just a name, it's a warning. I was silent, holding the map, feeling the weight of his words. The island appeared on the horizon at dawn on Isla. The 4th day, it had no name on modern maps, but the parchment called it Isla de las Sombras. It was small, covered in dense forest that seemed to swallow the sunlight. When we anchored, the silence hit us like a blow. No birds, no insects, just a low, barely audible drumming, like a heart beating underground. Diego joked, "The island is alive, huh?" Clara frowned but said nothing. I felt a chill run down my spine, but greed spoke louder. The cave was only accessible at low tide, a 2-hour window each day. If we missed the time, the sea would trap us inside. We equipped our oxygen tanks, checked our flashlights, and dove in. The water was cold, murky, full of shadows that moved on their own. The underwater tunnel was narrow, with walls covered in seaweed that brushed against us like fingers. We swam for 10 minutes that seemed like modernity, until we emerged into a chamber lit by torches burning on the walls. "Who lit this?" Clara said, her voice shaking. No one answered. In the center of the cavern sat a stone chest, carved, with snakes and skulls, surrounded by human bones, scattered like the exploration of a macabre flower. Some bore teeth marks, not animal teeth, but human. The air smelled of mildew and metal. I opened the chest with shaking hands. Inside, gold coins glittered like tiny suns, rubies glistened like fresh blood, and on top, a golden mask with onyx. Eyes stared back at me. It was magnificent, but there was only one mask, 3 people, 1 relic. Who would keep it? I touched the mask, and the drumming became a roar. The torches flickered, casting shadows that danced like specters. The ground shook, and the bones around me actually shifted. I wasn't imagining it. They were coming together, forming skeletons that rose from the dry ones. One of them, a rusty spear, lunged at Clara. She managed to dodge it, barely dodging. It Diego picked up a bone from the ground and used it as a club, smashing a skull that crumbled to dust, only to reform seconds later. "What the hell is this?" he yelled. I grabbed the mask and the chest, shouting, "Let's go!" We ran for the tunnel, but the water was already rising fast. The skeletons chased us, scratching at the walls with bony fingers. I swam with the chest in my arms, its weight pulling me down, while Clara and Diego struggled to avoid being caught. A crash echoed behind us. The ceiling of the tunnel collapsed, crushing the skeletons and sealing the cavern. We emerged in the boat, gasping, the gold and the mask still with us. But the drumming didn't stop. It slowed us down. On the boat, the mask seemed alive. The gold glinted in the sun, but I swear I could feel it watching me. I put the mask on my face, just out of curiosity. My mistake. My vision went dark, and I saw things. Bloody altars, warriors screaming. As a giant jaguar tore them apart, a priest laughing with a swift hand. I pulled it off, my heart in my mouth. Clara stared at me. "What did you see?" I didn't answer. That night, Diego disappeared. We heard a scream on deck, ran there and found only his vest, torn with claw marks that went through the fabric like knives. The sea was calm, the light, there was no explanation. Clara began to hear voices, suggestions coming from the trunk. Blood for blood. She showed me the photos they had taken in the cave. Figures appeared in the images, deformed faces that were not there when she clicked. I began to dream of the jaguar, its onyx eyes following me, its hoarse voice saying, "The gold is mine." The worst. The trunk seemed lighter every day, the coins were disappearing. We reached the mainland 5 days later, exhausted and paranoid. Clara tried to burn the trunk in a bonfire on the beach. The flames licked at the wood, but left no mark. I threw the mask into the sea, watching it sink beneath the dark waves. Momentary relief. Until the next morning, when I found it in my backpack, dripping with water and warm as blood. The drumming was constant now, a throb I felt in my bones. Clara was getting worse. She stopped sleeping, her eyes sunken, muttering about sacrifices. "The gold wants one of us, Lucas. Don't. You understand?" I didn't, but the doubt grew. Then one stormy night, the jaguar came. It wasn't a dream. It was there, in the cheap hotel room where we'd hidden. Black fur, teeth like daggers, onyx eyes gleaming. It spoke, its voice echoing in my mind. "Choose who dies, or you all pay." The air grew heavy. Time stood. Still, I looked at Clara, she looked at me. Neither of us spoke. The jaguar laughed, a sound that still wakes me at night. I woke up alone. The chest was empty, the coins and rubies gone as if they had never existed. Clara was gone, just a trail of wet footprints leading from the room to nothing. The mask remained, golden and untouched, on the table. I locked it in a steel safe, buried it in a place